You walk out of your Harvard Business School interview and you're either floating on cloud nine or your mind is racing with could've, should've, would've. The truth is that many feel like the latter, and that actually isn't even a bad thing. The HBS interview isn't a gotcha interview, but the questions have an angle, and that can feel unexpected because they're designed to force spontaneity. So even if you do quite well, you just might wish you could run back to your interviewer to clarify your answers or add some details. Well, that's why HBS created its post-interview reflection. The AdCom gives you the opportunity to follow up on anything you think was left incomplete, unclear, or unsaid. It's your chance to subtly make your final case to the AdCom. You aren't pleading, you aren't pontificating, you're strategically adding, you're rounding out the experience. First, let's quickly go over the details. Here's HBS's verbiage. This is what you would receive from the AdCom after interviewing. Quote, "What was the highlight of your interview and why did this resonate with you? Is there anything else you would like to share now that you've had time to reflect on your interview?" 300 to 450 words. Now for my tips. First, right after you interview, go someplace quiet where you can think about the meeting and write down your thoughts about the questions you were asked and how you answered them. It's amazing how quickly the experience can otherwise slip away. Were there moments where you really shined, really nailed your answers? You can discuss how pleased you were to delve into that part of your profile because they were critical in representing exactly who you are as a candidate and person. Were there questions where you felt your responses were incomplete or not as clear as you would have liked? Perhaps you now remember additional information you could have provided and can round out an important answer. Then organize those notes into a brief outline. Because of the brevity of the post-interview reflection essay, you won't be able to, nor should you, touch on every single question in the interview. That's not the point. However, key points you might want to include are certainly a brief thank you, a highlight, of course, because that's requested in the question, but also a reflection on why it was the highlight for you, anything you missed or want to clarify or add to, or possibly something the interviewer missed that you might want to discuss. Why are you excited about HBS? You can discuss this too, possibly how you could contribute to the class. We'll talk about that in a moment. One common mistake I see in post-interview reflections is summarizing too much. Don't simply recount the meeting blow by blow. This is not a journal entry. Your reflection will be much more interesting if you share your inner thoughts and perspectives. For example, were you surprised by any question or line of discussion? Don't be afraid to be candid. This will help your reflection come across as more authentic and personal. A very common question we get from applicants is how much should they include in their post-interview reflection about why they want to attend HBS. The question of why HBS likely won't come up in your interview at all, and that's fine. You may decide that you really want to share this with the AdCom and the PIR, but it's definitely not obligatory. And personally, I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's a great use of space, but some applicants feel absolutely compelled to do it. So if you are going to do it, just be thoughtful about how much space you allocate to the topic and ask yourself how much the information will be new to HBS and additive to your candidacy. I find that at times a simple and sincere reference to what makes you excited about attending the program can be a good way to wrap up. All I can say though is really make it count. Don't offer some generic comment about the case method or alumni base. Your reason again has to be sincere. And again, not mentioning why HBS at all in your post-interview reflection is perfectly acceptable. Many applicants, like me, will not reference the program at all. And my final tip, although you only have a short amount of time in which to write and submit your reflection, I highly encourage you to leave yourself time to take a step back. Give yourself an hour away from the essay before a final read that isn't too close to the deadline. You'll come back with fresh eyes and you'll be ready to polish the final aspects, truly recognizing your own strong voice in your PIR before you submit. Need some tips for your HBS interview? Well, don't miss our next video.